There's one thing a man should always do, mainly to himself be true. Never let anyone change your point of view unless what he brings makes sense to you. You should never judge him by sight alone or by the height that he has grown. And when you're speaking, always keep a moderate tone, because raised voices, they turn hearts to stone. See, from the beginning, it was brother kill brother. The morals in life, live, love, and respect one another. But then there are those, they'll always try to be smart. They'll take a decent man and then they'll alter his heart until he seeks to tear them apart. These men, no man should call friends. They bend lies around truths until they meet their end.
To the bitter baby mother, why is it that the moment that you and this man are no longer together, the first thing you want to do is take him to court for child support? What, you broke? Well, he don't provide for the child. Do you not know what falls up under the umbrella of providing for a child? Why you didn't take him to court for joint custody then? But you don't understand what you're doing. You unconsciously raising another human to be toxic. And you wondering when your child grows up, your child has abandonment issues because you wanted to control the narrative so bad. You kept this child away from its father. But the father wasn't providing for the child. You didn't make it your business for the man to properly provide for the child by taking him to court for at least joint custody, so that the man can be able to see his child. But see, you want to control the narrative. I don't want my child around another woman. Why? Because it's not you. So you trusted this man with your life, and he nutted in you, and you trusted this man enough to give you a baby, right? But you think that this man is going to have his child around somebody he don't trust? Smitty, find you somebody. But to the man that keeps fucking this woman, stop confusing the situation. Put yourself on child support and drink.
Huh. I don't know. I mean, I've always felt most responsible adults kind of see it as a grass is greener thing. Men have it hard in some areas, women have it hard in other areas.
No, that's not true, because there's no such thing as sexism against men.
How do you figure?
Because society hates women.
Why do you think that?
Because it's never sexist against men.
Uh-huh.
Look at all these reasons that prove society is unfair to women. This proves we live under patriarchy.
Look at all these ways in which society is unfair to men.
Those don't count. If society exists to privilege men and oppress women, those things can't be the result of sexism.
No. If society exists to privilege men and oppress women, those things wouldn't happen. All you're doing is rejecting evidence that men have it difficult in some areas so that you won't have to adjust your original theory that sexism only happens to women. That's called circular reasoning. Look, I can do it too. We live under matriarchy. Look at all these reasons why. See how hard men have it?
You're selectively editing out the negatives of being a woman. Look at all these ways in which women have a hard time.
Oh, sweetie, no, those don't count because we live under matriarchy.
By definition, sexism against women doesn't count. It's really problematic that you don't recognize this. And the fact that so many women deny the patriarchy exists is really just proof of the patriarchy itself.
Oh, please, give me one example of why men have it hard, besides all of the examples you've given.
Okay, men make up 93% of workplace fatalities, and no one ever talks about it.
Well, yeah, but that's only because women are kept out of dangerous careers as a result of sexism.
Unbelievable. I just pointed out one of the most horrific examples of sexism that exists against men, and you still find a way to make women the victims.
We are the victims! It's called benevolent sexism.
Benevolent sexism? You mean female privilege?
It's not privilege. It's just being given a nicer and easier way through life as a result of the way you were born.
Yeah, okay, two can play that game. Give me an example of sexism against women.
The wage gap?
The wage gap only happens because men are discouraged from taking care of their children and working less hours. The wage gap is actually just benevolent sexism towards men. Poor me.
No! Benevolent sexism against men can't exist because we live under a patriarchy. How loudly do I have to say this before it becomes true? You know what? I don't need this. I have to go anyway. I'm late for a seminar I'm attending.
What's the seminar about?
Why gendered language is problematic. So stop mansplaining at me so I can go be a patriarchy-fighting feminist.
He's
you have to
speaking
realize that, yes,
facts.
the involvement of violence in black folks comes from that long history that the president was talking about, that we have to remember that we learned from some of the best. They had some white boys came over here that did the first beheadings in Point Coupee, Louisiana, where I'm from. Slave insurrection, that was the way you dealt with it. Tuskegee syphilis incident. We're going to see how black men die if they have syphilis, but we pretend we treat them with penicillin, and we're just going to watch the pathology of how they die. Now, that wasn't back 200 years ago. That was 1930 to 1974. We're talking about giving these wonderful blankets to the Native Americans infected with smallpox as they walked on that trail of tears just to see how they die and to eliminate their population so we can take all of that land. So the violence that is in America has come from a very learned position that was brought here by some Caucasian folks. All right? So now, when it comes to the NFL, you have black men who have taken advantage of this opportunity to go there. So for every 1, 2, or 3 that may have been in the news because of violence, there are another 2,000 that deport themselves as gentlemen, as husbands, as fathers, and as great professionals. So we must remember them also.
Okay.
So, but you know, but yes, people are responding to that. They see that image of that black man. You know, one of the MacArthur Foundation fellows that just won is a psychologist, Jennifer Everhart from Stanford, who deals with racial messaging and inequalities that people is either learned or subconscious, that when you see me in a certain situation, you think violence. If they see you in a certain situation, people don't see violence. So the image of the black man being violent has been perpetuated for a long time.
I do desire more independence for my family because I can't go anywhere without them asking questions.
Who are you going to the brewery with? Who's driving? When are you going to be back? Be careful.
I've tried to put my foot down with my parents about doing more independent things. They're going to buy a house, and then they're going to be like an addition, and that's where I'm going to live.
I don't know if I'm ready to let her go, but she needs to be let go.
No.
Yeah.
You have to tell them no.
I'm working on my independence. People tell me I'm a fun drunk.
Masculinity and femininity are wonderful things in and of themselves. And when they work in tandem, sparks fly. I mean, it's awesome, but we're not allowing that to happen because we are infused with this message about equality, which this idea that men and women are the same when they are not. And so that gesture of holding the door open, I was just using as one example, is not men trying to oppress women. It's they want to please them, they want to take care of them, they want to show them honor, really. And we knew this in the past. Everybody knew this, and this has gotten completely lost in the last 40 years.
I believe that the strength of a woman is also what makes men respect us even more. We are not necessarily damsels in distress here. We can open doors for ourselves, we can do things for ourselves, and we welcome men to also open doors for us as well. But
Today we had a spelling bee, and this bitch took me out the second round because I didn't know how to spell juice. Like, bitch, I'm 6 years old. Does it look like I know how to spell juice?
3 rules for a lasting relationship. Never make your partner feel unwanted. No matter how hard things get, never cheat. Always have your partner's back through the good and bad times.
I broke my collarbone in a football game. There was Dad up in the stands giving me the old be tough. So I played 2 more downs before I passed out. My date, Mary Jo Klumsky, left the senior dance with another guy. Broke my heart. 2 a.m. at the kitchen table, my old man's telling me eat the sandwich and forget about her. Feelings. I didn't even cry at his funeral, you believe that? The guy was my whole world. Not a tear. Everybody looking at me like I didn't love him. But he knew. He had to know, right?